Predator, Killer of Killers is the brand new movie that also just hit on Hulu around a week ago. This film is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who brought us Prey for Hulu back in 2022 and is also directing the live action upcoming Predator film Badlands coming out later this summer. This is a kind of anthology Predator movie, which takes place three different stories, one in Viking time, one in Asia, as well as one during World War II, as these three fierce warriors deal with the Predator, which leads to them all going to Predator homeland to fight off against the ultimate Predator of Killer of Killers. The film is an hour and 25 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max. We're talking Predator, Killer of Killers. So if you're new guys to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do out-of-theater reactions, box office breakdown shows, movie franchise rankings, movie and TV show reviews. So if you like any one of those things, subscribe, ring the bell. Comment down below. What are your thoughts on Killer of Killers? Is this your favorite, least favorite entry into the Predator franchise? Does this get you more excited for the film later this year? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And guys, also please hit the thumbs up button to help support this channel. So I was someone, before going into this movie, I was a very casual fan of the Predator franchise. Then when Prey came out, it kind of brought me back into wanting to become a fan of this franchise again. And then when I rewatched all the Alien films, including Alien versus Predator, I'm now very much glued to now both franchises. And Prey, for me, was easily the best Predator film since the original. So I felt there was a lot of rejuvenation. The fact that the same guy who directed it, Dan Trachtenberg, is doing this film as well as Badlands coming out later this year. So that got me excited. The fact that it was an animated one made me kind of nervous, but I was still pretty excited for this one. And I got to say, this is definitely one of the most badass movies that I have seen in 2025. The film is an hour and 25 minutes. It's kind of an anthology thing, but it does all tie together towards the last 30 minutes of the film. But each section, each story gets 20 to 25 minutes. But they're all interesting. When you run into these anthology-like movies, the problem when you make a movie like that is you always are saying, well, this story is a lot better than the other story, and it makes you not like a particular part of a movie. And that's why I've just never been a big fan when movies kind of split into 3 parts in the middle of it. But I think each of the stories here are excellent, but it does help as well that they have a big culmination part at the end of the film. Now, what makes this movie really stand out, obviously, in my opinion, is the animation style. This is the goriest film in the Predator franchise, and it's animated, and it has some of the best action scenes. I think it does have the best action scenes of the Predator franchise. And because they're taking place in 3 completely different time periods, you have a lot of different action type set pieces. The one back in this 800 AD or something, where the first one takes place, is a lot about like Viking stuff. Then you move on to the Kurosawa style animation for the second one with the sword fighting and samurai. And then the third one is kind of like air fights, with planes in the air. So it makes each storyline feel very unique and energetic. And also it helps that in each story, they're fighting a completely different version of a predator. So they each do different things. If one's in a ship, there's also some unique additions that we haven't seen any predator use in the franchise. It just felt very unique. It was so well paced. That's another tough thing about doing anthologies, that you kind of have mini breaks within the movie, but it is just paced so well. But the animation is just jaw-dropping. It is very gorgeous. I think at the beginning of the movie, it kind of took me a second to kind of get used to it. The moment you get used to the style that this movie is going for, you're going to be hooked. This is a gorgeous movie that has some very gory kills. And it's the exact type of adult animation that I really enjoy. The characters themselves are very interesting. Also, what I like too here, which is the best part of most Predator movies, is limited dialogue. Just let the action, you don't want too much convoluted plot lines and dialogue in a Predator movie. And luckily, most of these don't really rely that much on dialogue. They rely very much on the action and what's taking place. And you can understand things going on without dialogue. That's tough to do on a writing level. and this movie definitely accomplishes it. There's only one famous person in the voice cast, and that's Michael Biehn, who's now another person who's been part of both the Alien and the Predator franchise. He's in the World War II era style one. The dog fights in the air were incredible. Really fun action scenes. This one feels like, to me, might be my favorite Predator film. I'm going to rewatch all of them before Badlands comes out later this year. But this was I even like this movie more than Prey. This is the Predator franchise rejuvenated. It's also the first Predator film that does let you know, setting things up. It's all its own contained thing. This finally feels like a correct and an exciting cinematic universe. There's a post-credit scene that you guys do need to stick out for. Now, I will say, on a negative level, because each anthology is around 20 minutes long, it does sometimes you don't really get as invested as you would with these characters because you're just not with them for a very long time. You're with them for 20 minutes and then they're kind of back towards the third act of the movie. So, sometimes you don't get that emotional punch and care for the characters as much. You feel more intensity in the action scenes themselves, not the emotion of the characters. So because they're kind of 20 minutes, sometimes you can feel like you were kind of there too quick with a particular storyline because they do have to jump to each thing. And I did think the way the characters had to communicate, let's just say in the third act together, felt way too easy, even though these are three people from different parts of the world in different time periods. They teamed up, and for me, way too easily. So those are my kind of big negatives, but this is a rejuvenation, in my opinion, of the Predator franchise. This gets me so excited for Badlands. Dan Trachtenberg is a 2 for 2 as director of the franchise. I'm going to give this film a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm going 82% for the new entry into the Predator franchise. What are your thoughts on this movie? Let me know down in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon.